Thank you so much for joining me. I am Hannah Wilson, founder of The Holistic Mother. I am also the author of The Holistic Mother's Guide Essential Oil Edition, and I want to welcome you to my class. I am going to be doing Essential Oil 101 today, so yeah, let's jump in and get started. First off, we're going to be talking about essential oil safety. Essential oils are very potent gifts from nature that can often be more powerful than people expect. So I want to go over some basic rules and just talk about everything that you can do to avoid having any kind of negative reaction. So let's go and jump right into it.
So most importantly is diluting essential oils. When you dilute an oil, it does not actually make it less potent or less effective. You are just helping it to absorb into the skin better. So the main reason for diluting is to avoid irritation. Some oils, when applied directly to the skin or applied neat, can cause irritation, and so you just want to make sure to dilute those oils with a carrier oil to make sure that you do not have any irritation or anything like that. So that is definitely one thing, especially with kids. I would say kids most of all you have to be the most careful about, because their skin is so delicate that if it is not diluted enough, you can cause a lot of irritation and a lot of sensitivity, which obviously not a good thing. So all of this diluting information is also on my website, so don't feel like you have to memorize it all or really even look over it that closely. Just know that it's on my website and it's also in my book. So if you want to be able to look it up later or you have any questions, you can always just go to my website and look at it on there. So anyways, for ages 1 month to 12 months, you want it to be diluted at 1%. For 1 to 3 years, you can do about 1 or 2%. For 3 to 8 years, you can do about 1 to 3%. And for 8 to 12, you want to do about 1 to 5%. And a lot of that just depending on exactly what you're doing with the recipe, what exactly you're making, all that kind of stuff. So this dilution chart is also on my website. It just kind of helps you figure out exactly how much product you need to use and how much for carrier oil and all of that for each recipe that you're making. So if you know that you're going to be making a cup of moisturizer or like a whipped body butter or something like that, this will let you know how many drops of essential oil to add in for 1 cup of product. So anyways, just this is kind of good to know, and good to know that it's there. If you ever need it, you can just go to my website and find them on there. So I want to talk a little bit about what is a carrier oil. So anyways, a carrier oil is a vegetable oil such as coconut or grapeseed oil that can be used to dilute essential oils. And when you're trying a new essential oil topically, make sure to use a carrier oil to avoid any possible skin sensitivity and to make sure you know exactly how it will react to your skin. Everyone's skin is a little bit differently, so if you hear someone say that they use so-and-so undiluted, then that's probably just what worked for them. Doesn't necessarily mean that you will be able to do it with the same reaction. So just know that whenever you're using an oil for the first time, just make sure to dilute it, and yeah. So I want to talk about a little bit about the different carrier oils. So really it depends on what kind of recipe you're making as what kind of carrier oil you want to use, and it also depends on your skin type. So for example, raw coconut oil is naturally high in saturated fat, which is the good fat. So it helps to protect the skin from sun exposure. It actually has an SPF of about 5 to 10, which is not a lot. I would not use it as your only sunscreen, but it is just nice to know that it is giving you a little bit of SPF. And so if you're wearing that maybe under another sunscreen, or if you're just going to be in the sun for a short amount of time, it's nice to know that there is a little bit of SPF. It also helps skin and hair to retain its natural moisture, helping to keep you looking young and healthy. So Coconut oil is great for that. One of the things about coconut oil, though, when it's raw, is it is harder at less than, I think it's 72 degrees, and then it will become liquid if it's 72 degrees or above. So depending on the recipe you're making, sometimes that doesn't always work. Like if you want a carrier oil that will work in a roller bottle or something like that that is going to stay liquid, that definitely would not be the carrier oil you'd want to use. But if you're making certain lotions or things like that, then raw coconut oil is great. One thing I will say about raw coconut oil is it will clog some people's pores. I know some people that can use it without issue and they don't have any issue with it clogging their pores, but some people, when they use it, it will make them break out a little bit. So if you're using it over a large area, or if you're going to be using it on your face, I might pick a different carrier oil as opposed to the coconut oil. So yeah. The other thing is there's a difference between raw coconut oil and fractionated coconut oil. So the fractionated coconut oil actually stays liquid all the time. And so that one you actually can use in roller balls and things like that, but it can also clog the pores. And so you do want to be careful. I wouldn't necessarily use it for like acne blends or for scars or anything like that where you maybe could have breakouts in that area. So I would probably pick a different one for that. So, a couple of my other favorites are, one of them is olive oil. It contains potent antioxidants, including vitamin E, and when applied to the skin, olive oil may help protect from premature aging, especially the vitamin E that is in there is mostly to praise for the anti-aging benefits of olive oil. So olive oil is one of my favorites to use in body lotions, as far as like whipped body butter that I'm using all over my body. Olive oil is really, really good for that. So I would obviously get organic and get a raw olive oil, but that is great for that. And olive oil will not clog pores, and so you can use it on your face. I actually will use olive oil as my makeup remover. So I just take straight olive oil, sometimes I'll mix a little coconut oil in, and then I will use that to remove my makeup. And I have no issues with it clogging my pores or doing anything like that, and it works really well. It's a lot more natural. So anyways, olive oil is mainly recommended for dry skin, hair, and pets. It is definitely good for dogs. You can use it for dry skin and a lot of different skin conditions for pets as well. And let's see. One of my other favorites is grapeseed oil. So grapeseed oil actually has a specific acid in it, which makes it very beneficial for certain skin conditions, especially acne. It can actually help to clean out the pores and to help balance oil production. I know it might seem a little counterintuitive to put oil on oily skin, but when you actually start using healthy, good oils like grapeseed oil on your skin, it starts telling your skin to produce less of its own natural oils, and so your skin will actually start balancing out its oil production when used on a regular basis. So if you have someone that has a lot of acne or a lot of skin trouble, then grapeseed oil is definitely one of my favorites to recommend for that. So that's definitely one of those things where it just depends on what kind of recipe you're making, what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. So another favorite of mine is sweet almond oil. Sweet almond oil is also very rich in vitamin E, and it has monounsaturated fatty acids. It also has potassium and zinc and other minerals and vitamins like that. So it is also another good one for just doing like all over body lotions, all over body butters. It's great to mix in with that kind of stuff. So, and also all three of these, the olive oil, the grapeseed, and the sweet almond oil, will not clog pores. So you can use it on your face, you can use it really all over your body without having to worry about it clogging pores. So, anyways, moving on. One of the things I want to talk about too is essential oil purity. I know not everybody gets their oils from the same place, but there's really only one or two brands that I actually feel comfortable buying my essential oils from. I know a lot of other people do buy from other brands and they say that they really like the quality of the oils. I just haven't experimented that much, so there might be other brands out there that are good quality, but a lot does go into the quality of the essential oil. So just because it's organic or just because it's 100% pure does not mean it's necessarily the same quality as other brands or other oils. So that's something I want to just have you keep in mind. I know a lot of people see the organic essential oils at the grocery store and see that they're half the price of some of the other companies, and they get really excited, which is totally understandable. I really wish that you could get those oils and they would be the same quality, but in most cases they're just really not. They're usually really diluted and just not the same. Personally, I usually use Young Living. That's pretty much what I use in everything. I love that I know the quality and I don't have to worry about it. But I also have a lot of good friends that use doTERRA, so if you're into doTERRA too, I have heard a lot of good things about them, and I have used a couple of oils from them that I have liked. I haven't really been able to compare them much side to side, so I'm not going to get into a huge which one is better, but I will just let you know that personally I love Young Living. So just throwing that out there. So as far as purity goes, one of the things I want to talk about is what kind of seed was used. So just using lavender, for example, there are dozens of different varieties of lavender. I'm sure if you go to any kind of garden center or anything like that, you will be able to see this. They usually have several different types and several different bushes that have different smells. So that being said, essential oils that are made from different plants, from different seeds, are going to have very different smells, very different therapeutic properties and benefits. So you really do want to make sure to get essential oils from a company that actually does their own research with the seeds and make sure that they're using seeds that are actually therapeutic benefits and qualities to the oil that those seeds are going to produce. So yeah, definitely make sure you check that. The next thing is, how is the plant cultivated? There's obviously, the kind of organic thing that most people think of, but even then, that doesn't even go into, how they check with the water and how they do all the other cultivation. I mean, there's so much that goes into cultivating a good plant. So I would just encourage you to look into the company, see what their cultivation practices are, and see how they do that. So the next one is, how are the oils distilled? Let me take a little breather here. Give me a second. So it is very important to buy from a company who knows how to properly distill essential oils. Quality companies will spend countless hours researching the best way to distill essential oils to bring out the beneficial healing properties. So, for example, certain essential oils need to be distilled for a very specific amount of time. I'm going to use the example of 20 hours. And so if they are distilled for exactly 20 hours, they get all of the beneficial properties, everything like that. But if they are distilled for 18 hours, you get a lot of times half the benefits. And if they are distilled for even just a couple hours too many, same thing, a lot of the benefits are just gone. And so you really want to make sure that the company is actually testing the oils all throughout the way and making sure that they have all the beneficial properties that you want in the oil. Every oil has to be distilled differently, and so there's definitely not like a one-size-fits-all with distilling oils. You want to make sure that the company is actually distilling each essential oil properly in the way that it needs to be distilled and for the time that it needs to be distilled. So, also important. And then next thing is just really, how are the oils tested? Reputable companies will send their oils out to third-party testers and then have them tested outside their own labs, and then they will also test them in their labs. So it's good to have that. Then you have some peace of mind. You know that a third party actually checked it, looked over it, make sure it has all the properties that you want, and go from there. So kind of helps you know what you're getting. So I mentioned this oil earlier. Can't talk today apparently. But I want to go over what are hot oils. So the hot oil is the term used to describe essential oils that can cause skin irritation or a burning sensation. And so generally always dilute hot oils with a carrier oil and be extra careful not to get in your eyes or nose. Some people are more sensitive to this than others, and so some people might be able to use more or less carrier oil depending on kind of what works for them. So, real quick, hot oils include pine, clove, basil, lemon, thyme, oregano, caraway, citronella, rosemary, balsam fir, marjoram, peppermint, lemongrass, black pepper, eucalyptus, cinnamon bark, and mountain savory. There are also other hot oils in that, but I just kind of wanted to go over kind of the main ones. So I think probably most popular among those being peppermint. I know the first time I used peppermint, I didn't know any better, and I just put a couple drops in my hand and just rubbed it all over my body, and it was definitely very tingly and was not the most comfortable sensation. So definitely learned the hard way on that one, but that's okay. That's life. But I will say to make sure that you dilute all of these oils properly. If you have any irritation with these oils, just make sure and dilute them a little bit more. So, moving on here. Next thing I want to talk about is photosensitivity. So, some oils are photosensitive, meaning they can cause irritation when worn in sunlight. A lot of times, just one of those things that you just don't think about. I know I had a friend make a big batch of body butter that actually had orange and a couple other photosensitive oils in it. And so she rubbed it all over her body and then wore it out in the sun, and she did get a little bit of sunburn and some discomfort and irritability on her skin. So definitely not a good thing. The main thing with these photosensitive oils is you just want to make sure and not wear them in direct sunlight. Most of the time with these oils, I try to use them before bed or something like that, or on days where I know I'm not going to be in the sun, or just make sure and use a good sunscreen on top of that. So just something I want to make y'all aware of. And the photosensitive oils include lemon, lime, bergamot, orange, grapefruit, angelica, ginger, tangerine, and then most citrus oils. So just kind of as a rule of thumb, really all citrus oils are photosensitive. So you just want to be careful when using those in direct sunlight to avoid any irritation or anything like that. Also, take another sip here. Alright, so in case of irritation, it's bound to happen sometimes. Accidents happen. As parents, I think we generally understand that more than most people. So if accidents do happen and you do get essential oils where you don't want them or they are too strong, I just want to remind you to always dilute with a carrier oil. If you use water, that will actually drive the oils in deeper. So for example, if you get oils in your eye, you can actually just grab like olive oil or something like that and actually, I know it sounds kind of weird, but run the olive oil through your eye to get the essential oils out of your eye. If you were just to run your eye with water, it would just drive those oils in deeper. It would be really painful and not good. And so, yeah, just letting you know, if you do have an accident, make sure and use a carrier oil instead of water to help get the oil off your skin. So, just letting you know, it's always one of those good things to know before you need to know it, so that you're not having to run around and figure out what you're trying to do. So now I'm going to go into all of the individual essential oils. I think I have 10 of them to talk about. So let's jump in and get started with these. Also, all of this information and more is in my book, and so if you feel like you missed anything or you want to actually have it written down in front of you, then you can check that out and get that to make it easier. So anyways, first up, I'm going to talk about cinnamon bark. It is one of my favorite oils for cooking. It is also great in the diffuser. It smells so good. One of my favorite recipes is pumpkin spice bread. I definitely have to make that every year, definitely around this holiday season. I always end up making a couple loaves, and I just use a couple of drops of the cinnamon bark oil in with the batter, and it just tastes amazing. Cinnamon bark is also one of the key ingredients in the Thieves Blend, or if you have doTERRA, it's called On Guard. So it is one of the key ingredients in that. Excuse me. You can also use it in, I like using it on my wool dryer balls. Couldn't talk there for a second. So I just put a drop or two of cinnamon and then a couple drops of orange on my wool dryer balls when I start my laundry, and it just makes my laundry smell amazing. So that is a little tip for you. As far as what other recipes you can use them in, you can use it in sugar scrub, you can use it in room and linen sprays, carpet deodorizers, all sorts of different things. It can be used for all different stuff. Property-wise, excuse me, it is antibacterial, antidepressant, antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antiseptic, and it is astringent and a stimulant booster. So it is quite a few things. It is definitely good to have around the house. With all of the antibacterial and antifungal, all of that, all those properties are one of the reasons it is so good in the Thieves Blend, and it is so powerful in that. So yes, this is definitely a good oil to have around. I don't think it's in the starter kit at the moment, but it is not too expensive of an oil, so I would definitely say it is probably one of the first ones I would recommend buying once you start kind of branching out past the kit. So one of my favorite diffuser blends to use with this oil is to do 3 drops orange, 2 drops cinnamon, 1 drop clove, and then 1 drop nutmeg. And then you can also add 1 drop ginger if you want. And yeah, it just smells really Christmassy. It's a very like holiday blend. It smells really good. I really generally use it during the fall season, as it definitely has that kind of fall smell to it. So next up is clove. Clove is a strong antibacterial, antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory. It is a strong antiviral, disinfectant, and it is also an immune stimulant. I believe clove is also in the disinfecting blend. Yes, it actually is. So clove is also in the Thieves Blend and the On Guard blend. It is, again, one of those oils that really gives the Thieves its power, and it's one of the reasons it's such a good antibacterial and antivirus solution. So Clove is also an old natural remedy for teething. It is something that has been done for hundreds of years. The main thing when using clove for teething is you do want to make sure it is very, very, very well diluted. Clove is a hot oil and can be kind of hard on the liver if it's used in excess, and so you just want to make sure that it is diluted very carefully when you're using it for teething. But it is actually really good at numbing the gums, and so when you have pain or anything like that, it is really great for tooth pain. So something to keep in mind. You can also use clove in cooking. It is really yummy for that as well. So yeah, I would say, mess around with that, see what works for you, and go with it. It is also good in room and linen sprays and a couple other recipes like that. And one of my favorite diffuser blends for this guy is to do 4 drops tangerine, 3 drops cinnamon, and 1 drop clove. I love the smell of that. It smells really good. So yeah, moving on. Okay, this is one oil I will say I don't even know how to pronounce it 100%, and I feel so silly saying that because I use this oil I mean, all the time. I use it almost every day. I think it's Copaiba. I'm not sure. I really want someone to let me know exactly how to pronounce it. I have a feeling I'm saying it like 100% wrong. But anyways, moving on. Let's go with it. It is great for inflammation. It's great to mix with your favorite carrier oil and apply to inflamed areas. It is really very good for arthritis or any condition like that. It's also great for after a workout. And this is also the other key ingredient in my teething remedy. So this oil is really good for bringing down inflammation, as I said earlier, and so that is really good with teething because since it's such a good anti-inflammatory, it is really great to use with the teething because while the clove will help bring the pain down, this will help bring the inflammation, and so it kind of has this great synergistic effect, and they work together, and it just has great results. That is what I used on my daughter the entire time she was teething. I used it pretty much every day. So again, just as long as you make sure to properly dilute it. The recipe is in my book. I believe it's on my website too. So yeah, that is a great teething recipe. It's also a great oil to use on dogs. If they have any kind of inflammation in their ears, or if they your dog has hip problems or any other kind of joint problems or anything like that, it is a great oil to dilute with a carrier oil and make a little massage oil for them. So it is commonly used for anxiety, muscle aches, poor circulation, and different skin disorders and respiratory problems. You can also use it for insect bites and for sore throats. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of things you can use this for. This is one of my favorites for sure. I think it is in the starter kit now, although I don't know for sure. They keep changing the starter kit on me, so I feel like as soon as I like really master it and get down what's in it, they end up changing it. So anyways, if it's not in the starter kit, I definitely recommend it. Ooh. Okay, so moving on. Next one is frankincense. I know for sure this one comes in the starter kit, and it is such a great oil. I feel like this is kind of one of my kind of jack of all trades of oils. I always have bottles around just to make sure it's close by and it's easy to get to and all that. So, a couple of the ways that it's used is one, to encourage a feeling of grounding. So you can rub 1 to 2 drops in the palm of your hands, then cup your nose and breathe in deeply, and that will just kind of help you feel grounded, help you feel more secure, kind of bring you back to center. And then another good way to use it as a massage oil for different kind of like arthritis pain, and you can use it for any inflammation or anything like that. So it's definitely a good oil to use for massage. Frankincense is also very, very good for the skin. It is very good for anti-aging and wrinkles. It is really good for the skin. I use it in my overnight cream. I use it in my moisturizing facial serum. I pretty much use it in everything that goes on my face. It's in my face wash. It's pretty much in everything. And that will definitely help the skin stay looking young and stay wrinkle-free, well, at least as much as possible. So that is definitely good to use in body lotions and body butters and things like that. It also has anti-cancer properties. A lot of research is being done into using frankincense as a treatment for cancer, and more promising things are coming out. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, while I am a certified health coach, and I do know a lot about health. I do not know everything, so I will not go into super details on that, but I do know that a lot of exciting studies are coming out as far as the effects of frankincense on cancer. So it's kind of exciting to see what powerful things essential oils can do. As I said earlier, it's also good anti-inflammatory. It's good immune stimulant, and as far as diffuser blends, I'd like doing 3 drops orange, 2 drops frankincense, 1 drop clove, and 1 drop ginger. That is one of my favorite blends with frankincense. I would love to try diffusing frankincense more. I will admit that's one of the few ways I don't tend to use it often, but I think I just need to find more good blends that I really like. So if anybody has any good blends, let me know. I'd like to try them out and see what works. Well, moving on to the next oil, I'm going to go over grapefruit. So grapefruit is a powerful air purifier. It is great for diffusing or making a room and linen spray. It's definitely a great way to benefit from that oil. Some women feel that grapefruit is actually really good for relieving cramps. So you can take some carrier oil and massage it on your abdomen and see if that works for you. Can't guarantee it'll work for everybody, but it's worth a shot. If it doesn't work, oh well. If it does work, then hey, you got a great solution for cramps. So might as well give it a shot, see if it works for you. Grapefruit can also be used to help focus the mind and for relieving anxiety. So you can do the same thing, just put a drop or two in the palms of your hands, rub your hands together, and just breathe in the oils, and it will help calm any feelings of anxiety and will help relieve stress and that kind of thing. It's also one of my favorite oils to use in sugar scrubs and salt scrubs and things like that. I just love the smell of it, so I think it's great oil to mix in with other things. So yeah. Grapefruit can also be used as a appetite suppressant, and so it's a good oil if you're trying to lose weight or get your appetite a little more under control. You can mix in a drop with water and then drink that whenever you're feeling hungry, and it will help keep your appetite down. So when you're using essential oils and water though, just make sure to use glass and make sure to use pure oils. So just a little 2-second safety thing, just make sure you're using glass when you use essential oils. So grapefruit blends well with basil, bergamot, cedarwood, chamomile, frankincense, cypress, several other different oils, so it's definitely good to use in the diffuser as there's a lot that it blends well with. One of my favorite blends is using 2 drops grapefruit, 2 drops spearmint, 2 drops lime, and then 2 drops orange. That is probably one of my favorite diffuser blends. I guess I probably say that a lot because there really are a lot of great diffuser blends, but this one is great for when you're cleaning or when it's Monday and you just need a little bit of inspiration and just a little bit of kind of pep in your step. This is one of my favorites. So I just think it's so clean and so fresh and it's great. Next one is geranium. Geranium is one of my favorites to use on my skin. It's right up there with frankincense and lavender. It's one of those oils that I pretty much have in all of my skincare products. I have it in my moisturizing facial serum, my overnight cream, all that stuff. It's really great for delicate skin, so just a good one to keep in mind. Geranium is not in the starter kit, so this is one of those things that just down the line, just keep it in mind, and if you get a chance to get it, it's definitely a good one to stock up on. You can use it in recipes like body wash, body lotion, all that kind of stuff. So really any moisturizer is just great. It is slightly antibacterial. It is said to be antidepressant, antiseptic, astringent, and it is a insect repellent as well as relaxing. So definitely has several different things that you can use it for. Being an insect repellent, it is a good to add to your own blends. If you do make your own insect repellent like I do, then it's good to add a couple drops of that in there. So it is definitely good to diffuse it. It is a great air purifier. One of my favorite diffuser blends for that one is 2 drops geranium, 3 drops lavender, and 4 drops lime. So mess around. If you come up with any diffuser blends that you like, please let me know. I'm always on the look for new blends, so I would love to hear from y'all. Next one is lavender. So I think lavender is probably one of the most well-known essential oils. even if you know very little about oils, lavender is probably one of the first few that you try and kind of become familiar with. Most people say it is the jack of all trades when it comes to oils. If you don't know what oil to use, you can pretty much use lavender and it will at least help. It pretty much at least won't make it worse. And so if you don't know what to use, that's kind of a good fallback oil to try something at least. It is really good for skincare. It is also really good for burns. Frankincense is actually the same way. I forgot to say that with frankincense. But if you burn yourself, it is really not the end of the world. You can just grab one of the bottles of lavender or frankincense and then put it directly on wherever you burn yourself. I tend to be a klutz and I burn myself on pans more than I would like to admit. So I generally keep a bottle of one of those two in the kitchen so that whenever I burn myself, it's just right there, really easy, and I can grab it right away and put it right on the burn. So there's one way to use lavender. You can use it in lip balms, sugar scrubs. I actually use it in my homemade baby butt balm, as it's one of the oils that you can use on newborns and little children. It is safe for them to use if it's diluted properly. And so I use that when I make her butt balm. And you can also use it in insect repellent. It is another good one for that. Property-wise, it is said to be antidepressant, antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory, and antiseptic. So, overall, it is really good for the skin. It's really good for burns. It is really good for helping fall asleep. In most cases, at least. I know some people do react differently to lavender. Everyone is going to react to oils a little bit differently, but in most cases, lavender will relax people, and so it is a good one to use before bed to help go to sleep. So, anyways, one of my favorite blends to do with lavender is 3 drops lavender, 2 drops rosemary, and 2 drops peppermint. So, there is lavender. I feel like so much is known about lavender, I don't really need to even say that much about it because it's just such a well-known oil. Next up is lemon. So I know lemon comes with a starter kit. It's definitely one of the good starter oils. It's great for cleaning as it is a really strong degreaser, but it's great because you can also use it in food. You can use it in sugar scrubs, microdermabrasions, all sorts of stuff. It's also one of my favorites when I make my own countertop cleaner, when I make my own glass cleaner. I pretty much always put lemon in there too. So, the other great way that lemon can be used is in combination with lavender and peppermint. It is really good for seasonal allergies. So if you feel the seasonal allergies come on, that is great to put in the diffuser. Just put probably 2 or 3 drops of each oil, lavender, peppermint, and lemon, and that will help open you up. It will help get rid of the congestion and will help with the seasonal allergies. So just something to keep in mind. It's one of those remedies that's kind of good to know before you need it, so that way when you have the irritation, when you have the allergies, you can pull out that blend and do that. I also will get these little sticks that you actually have a little wick inside, and you can put the oils on there, and then you can kind of diffuse the oils that way and just breathe in through the inhaler stick. So definitely during the allergy season, I will keep one of those little inhaler sticks on me pretty much all the time with the lavender, lemon, and peppermint, just to know that I'm good to go. And yeah. It is said to be antidepressant, antifungal, antiviral, and astringent. So it has several good properties to it, and is commonly used for air purification, home cleaning, allergies, poor concentration, depression, and you can even use it for hangover and heartburn. So I'm glad that oil comes in the starter kit, as I feel like it is definitely a good oil to have around the house. So a good diffuser blend for that is 4 drops tangerine, 2 drops lavender, 2 drops lemon, and 1 drop spearmint. So yeah. Another good way to use lemon is I feel like I'm one of those people that always likes to reuse my glass jars, but I always have issues getting the labels off of the jars. And so if you put a drop or two of lemon on the outside of the label, it will actually help to get that label off way easier. So just a little tip. It's good to use that to get rid of those unwanted labels and unwanted stickiness. Okay, so next up is peppermint. Peppermint is very popular during the first couple months of pregnancy or the first trimester or two. It's generally not recommended in the last trimester of pregnancy as it can reduce milk production, and so you want to make sure that everything's producing normally. But for the first and second trimester, it is very good because it is very powerful anti-nausea, and so those months are usually the months that women experience the most morning sickness and the most just overall nausea, whether it be any time of the day. And so peppermint is very, very good for that. You can either diffuse it or just dilute a couple drops, or just dilute a drop and rub it on your chest. You can also put in one of those little inhaler sticks and take it with you wherever you go. It's just a great anti-nausea. I really recommend it to pretty much anybody that's pregnant. I say they should at least try it and see if it works for them. That pretty much saved me when I was pregnant. It really, really helped with my nausea and made a huge, huge difference for me. So I would definitely say try that out if you have morning sickness and you deal with that, or if you have nausea for whatever reason, pregnancy or not, it is a great oil to try for that. Peppermint is also really good to use in cooking. You can make peppermint brownies. I know that's probably one of the most popular ways I see peppermint oil being used. You can just put a drop or two into a brownie mix. The one thing I will say about peppermint though is be careful not to use too much. I know one time I accidentally added like 3 or 4 drops to a pan of brownies, and pretty much the only thing you could taste in those brownies was peppermint. It was so strong. So I would just say when you use it with a batter, make sure to only use like 1 or 2 drops, and you can even like mix it in and kind of taste it a little bit to see that it's where you want it. But definitely be careful, don't overdo it, but play around with it, see what works for you. It's great in like hot chocolate and other recipes like that. You can also use it with cough drops. It is also great for things like steamy shower discs. I actually make my own and then just put my own essential oils on there, whatever I feel like I need. And so that, along with like eucalyptus and other oils like that, can be really good for those steamy shower discs. Peppermint is another one that is really good on wool dryer balls. You can use those and then stick them in your laundry, and it will make your clothes smell so good. So anyways, it's also really good in body washes too. You can use it in body lotions, sugar scrubs, body spray. There's so many things you can use it for. It's also great in foaming hand soap. It's one of my favorites to use when I do make my own hand soap. That and with some orange just smells really, really good. So anyways, yeah, moving on. So let's see. What's next? Another oil that is actually now should be in the starter kit. I think when I originally got my starter kit it was not, but I'm pretty sure that now they do have it in the starter kit, and that is tea tree. Tea tree is one of the most effective oils against acne, and so if you're someone that is acne prone, that is definitely a good one to keep on hand. I generally get a breakout or two around a certain time of month, and so I like to keep a bottle of tea tree in my bathroom when I do get breakouts. I just take that with a little bit of grapeseed oil, and I will just put it on whatever areas that I'm having issues, and I'm amazed at how much quicker my skin heals when I use the tea tree oil. It's pretty much night and day, the days that I do use it and the days that I don't. I can tell a huge difference with how my skin heals and how it's responds to that. So yeah, definitely a good one to have around if you have acne. It is also great for bug bites. If you get bug bites, spider bites, right away, pretty much anytime I just put a drop of the oil on the bite, and it will really help to suck out any of the poison or anything like that, and it will help to bring down itching, bring down irritation, and will help to heal that up a lot faster. So if you know you're going to be out camping, or you know you're going to be in an area where you can get a lot of bug bites, definitely keep a bottle on hand and make sure to have one around for that. You could also make a roller ball with tea tree in it if you know you're going to be getting a lot of bug bites or a lot of mosquito bites or something like that. That way you can just have that roller blend just pre-made, just whip it out and just put it on any spot you get. So yeah, tea tree oil is great to blend with pretty much all citrus oils. It smells great. It is great antifungal. It's also good for athlete's foot, for cold sores. It is also especially good for dandruff. A lot of people will mix tea tree and rosemary in with their shampoo and use it to fight dandruff. So that is another way that you can use it. It's also good for rashes and things like that. So yeah, I also use tea tree in my makeup brush cleansers. I like to make my own because they are so much cheaper than buying the store-bought versions, and they work just as well, if not better. So tea tree is one of those oils that I use in there just to have kind of the antifungal effect and to keep everything nice and clean and where I don't have to worry about it. It's also great to use on like yoga spray mats. Yoga mat sprays. Said that wrong. Excuse me. So I know a lot of people that do yoga regularly will make one of those little pre-made sprays and then just spray it on their yoga mat whenever they're done and wipe it off just to make sure they get any kind of junk off. So yeah, it's another great way to use it. So kind of lastly, I just want to talk about some of my favorite diffuser blends. I also want to answer any questions that y'all have. So I guess if you have questions, now would be the time. I have the chat open, so I'll be able to see what any of you guys ask. But just going over a few of my favorite diffuser blends. One of my favorite for fall is 4 drops tangerine, 3 drops cinnamon, and 1 drop clove. Another good one is 3 drops orange, 2 drops frankincense, 1 drop clove, and 1 drop ginger. I have all of these diffuser blends on my app. Currently, I only have the app for the iPhone, so just letting you know, I'm working on getting it for the other one as well. But yeah, just letting you know, it is on the iPhone right now, and it'll be on Android soon. So, anyways, yeah, I want to thank everybody for being in the class. I appreciate everybody coming. I hope I answered some questions for y'all, and I hope this was helpful for you. All of this information is in my book, and so you are also welcome to rewatch this video if you need the information again, but if you do want it actually written down in front of you all the time and easy to get to, you can grab my book. All the information is in there. I also have over 65 recipes in here, so all the recipes that I've mentioned in this class are all in my book. So yeah, just letting you guys know that. My book is now on my website, it's now available, so just giving a little shout out to that. It's definitely great for the holiday season to give to a loved one. It has all the information about using essential oils during pregnancy too. So if you have a friend that is doing an oily pregnancy or is just getting into essential oils, it is a great option for them, as they can get all the information they need to be healthy and all of that. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming. If you have any questions at all, you can always message me on my Facebook, on my Instagram, all that stuff, and just let me know, yeah, what the question is, and I will help out as much as possible. So I really appreciate you making it here. And yeah, I am really looking forward to doing more of these classes. I think they're really fun, and it's just something I love putting together and I love doing. So as long as possible, I'm going to keep doing the classes. I'm going to start doing them every month. I think I'm going to have 2 or 3 classes that I do regularly and do monthly. So yeah, as long as I can afford to keep doing it, I will. I'm currently having to spend extra on internet and on this service to host the webinars, and so I'm hoping that a couple people will stop by my website and donate just a couple bucks if it's possible. If you have a tight budget, no worries. I want this class to be free and to be accessible to everyone. That is why I'm doing it just love donation basis. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to donate. This is definitely a free class, but it would just be nice to not be in the hole from doing the class and to actually break even. So if you have just a couple bucks that you can donate just to help cover my cost and to cover having to get extra internet and all that extra stuff that I have to do to offer these webinars. So if it's not a big deal, if it's in the budget, I'd really appreciate going to my website and donating just a couple bucks. But if not, no worries at all. I'm so glad each and every one of you made it. So glad you were all here, and yeah, I love doing these classes, and I can't wait to do another one. I will probably be doing another one of these in about a month, so just stay on the lookout on my Facebook page, and all the information will be there. So yeah, I appreciate all of y'all coming. I will see you next time, and again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Just shoot me a message on Facebook, or you can ask it in my group with the Essential Oil group. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I forgot. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I know I've said that like 10 times now, but thanks for making it.